Hello and welcome back. My name is Guild Navigator, and we're continuing our Let's Play series as Morocco into Al-Andalus. We've almost conquered all of Iberia. It's a little bit unnerving how similar this actually is to the situation that the Christians ended up in when they initially lost Iberia to the Catholics. I'm just realizing right now that I forgot to take Valencia in this piece. That's okay. I'll get it at some point, but I'm continuing to push north. Let's see, Navarra, interesting. So Navarra is not in a coalition against me. I could change my main school. I'm not going to do that. Navarra is not in a coalition against me, so I could actually go after them. I could, like, no CB war them, but I don't think I can just spend 20 stability. But I will begin to build a spy network on them. And I had just wrapped up this war. This is what was going on, and I was going to bring my army south because I'm also at war with Mali. Yes, that's right. Great. You know, I went back and rewatched one of my earlier videos. And it happened, you know, sometimes I just click on them to see how the audio quality is and stuff like that to make sure everything is good. And I realized that in my war against Mali, I could have taken a way bigger chunk. I chose not to because I was over the diplomatic capacity, I believe. But I kind of regret it now because fuck them. Let's see, I have the rights of the nobility. I don't love extra noble power. So I don't think that is what I should go for. Serfdom is nice. Fortification maintenance is pretty good. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Rural noble authority. Cool. Cool. Let's see, I'm putting that down. I feel like the music is kind of quiet right now. As now, I feel like I can't hear it at all. Of course, it's going to end up being like shockingly loud. So today's Saturday when I'm recording this. This morning we went into a Christmas market in the area that we live in, and so I'm just trying to see what this is. I guess I'll just have to accept this. I'm going to turn off this when someone else proclaims the hedge one. I don't care. But yeah, we went into like a little Christmas market kind of thing. It wasn't as much like, it wasn't like a real European Christmas market. Like, in fact, you know, against something like that, it was kind of bullshit, but it was cute. Had some wine. It was really nice. I like doing little things like that because it feels like they justify sitting around. Like, I like to just sit around. This is my favorite hobby. Like, I don't know if this relates to anyone. I feel like if you're watching this my style of like the 2010s Let's Play series, you're someone who probably is a little bit of an introvert and likes to just hang out. That is definitely how I am. But I like to do like little activities every once in a while. Yeah, again, I don't know much about this. Because I kind of feel like it makes it all the sweeter to just hang out, to just chill. You know, one example of, I mean, I think what, you know, kind of what I'm describing, I guess on some level, is that like it's incredible the degree to which context shapes like everything, right? And you know that on some level that sounds like some, I guess, just like new agey philosopher. Like that's something that like you would put on like you'd see in like a high school principal's you know, wall, or a high school guidance counselor or something like that. But I will say that like it is pretty remarkable the degree to which you know, context is so important, and that when you go out and you spend time doing something that like maybe you don't necessarily want to do, like going to a Christmas market with your wife and, you know, her friends, then you come home and it's like the time you get to spend recording your little video is all the sweeter. Yeah. I mean, so I was saying that like one of my favorite examples of how context, you know, can totally change the quality of an identical experience is that, so the summer after I graduated from high school, I went to AmeriCorps. I did like 9 months as a in AmeriCorps, which is kind of like the Peace Corps, but in the United States. I did like environmental restoration work. I hated it. Totally different story, but and I loved it at the same time. You know, it's like everything you do when you're a kid. And while I was there, our schedule was 8 days on, 6 days off, which was really cool. So you'd work 8-10 hour days in a row, and then you would have 6 days off. And that comes out to 2 weeks, but and you still work 80 hours in those 2 week period of time, but you kind of like get it all done in one period, one batch. I loved it. When you finish up these, they were called sprints, I believe. That sounds right. Hitches? No, it was hitches. They were called hitches. So when you'd finish up these hitches, you would have to obviously clean up your vehicle, right? So you'd have like I was a trained chainsaw sawyer, and so you'd have to clean your chainsaw. You'd have to, unpack your bag. We would have these kind of like vans that we would drive with all our shit out. So you need to do that. Often a lot of the work we did involved pesticides, so you needed to like, store those properly, and the list goes on, right? Like I could belabor this point. And one of the jobs was to take the trash to the dump, and the dump was about 20 minutes away, if I remember correctly. And so by the time you loaded the car, it was like a little truck thing. By the time you loaded it up with the trash and you drove out to the dump, because you would accumulate all this trash on these hitches. They were out in like the middle of nowhere, and you obviously couldn't leave the trash behind, and so you had to do something. So by the time you took the trash out and got it all together, you and drove there and threw it away and then came back, everyone was essentially done picking up. Like everyone was finished, and you didn't actually have to do anything. And oh my God, getting to be the person who took the trash was amazing. It was genuinely, you felt like it was Christmas. Like you would kind of like, you'd have a friend like maybe who was like the person who would like lead the hitch, and he would be like, oh, like, okay, cool, like you can take the trash with me. And you'd be sitting in like this air conditioned car, listening to music, and that everyone back at the place is like picking up, and that they have to like clean your chainsaw for you and stuff like that, because we didn't own chainsaws. Like when we would have a hitch, we would just take out the ones we needed. And so it's like, it wasn't like my personal chainsaw. So it's like, that they're just like doing all the stuff for you. And like, and like, that's just the way it works. Like, if I wasn't picked for the trash, most of the time I wasn't picked for the trash. Like I would have to do other work for other people. So it's like, it wasn't like you were doing anything wrong, but, it was lovely. It was like Christmas, right? Now, if I was told today that I had to drive 20 minutes to the dump, like if my wife came upstairs and was like, oh my God, I just did it again. I just fucking said my name. I need to like be so much better about this. I'm just gonna edit it out. Like there's gonna be a block that's missing. That was my name. Like, okay, if my wife came and they said X, I need you to drive to the dump, and it's 20 minutes back and forth. Can you go do this? That would kind of like really, that would suck. I would hate that. Like that would be a deeply unpleasant way to spend some of my time. And in this other context, it was lovely. And all that changes really is just the context. That was my long story. I was kind of in a chill period of time. It looks like the war with Mali wrapped up for indeterminate reasons. I still don't really fully understand how I got involved with it at all. It was like these people. It was confusing because it was like somehow it was an independence war, and this person was leading it, but it was against Mali. Yeah, I just don't know. I got nothing. I will say that it's I'm hankering to go to war with them again, but actually be in charge. Okay, so 1444, the start of EU4. Oh shit. Okay, cool. The war's over. That means that I can create a whole bunch of subjects. Let's see. What are my fiefdoms at? They're at -10. But it's worth remembering that they get +10 for just being a fiefdom. Do I have any vassals? The vassals are -0, it appears. Let's do 50-50. Fiefdoms are just better. Like, they're better in every way. They, you know, if I do end up having to give them independence, I get to keep them as a personal union, which is definitely broken. I mean, they need to fix that. But more importantly, they do the parliaments, which slowly boost my king, or my sheik, or whatever the noble title is. So one of my favorite books is Thomas Carlyle's like on heroes, hero worship, and the heroic in history. And it was a lecture series that he did. I'm actually gonna yap about this for a little while. So there's a point I want to make about the lecture series, but it was originally a lecture series, and then it's been bundled up into a book. And I believe it's 6 lectures. That sounds right. So it's like, and he goes through the different ways that heroes manifest throughout human history. So it's like, it starts out with the hero as divinity. He talks about Norse paganism, and then it transitions to the hero as prophet, and it talks about the Muhammad. It like focuses on him, and then it's the hero as poet, I believe. It's like all about Dante and stuff, and then the hero as writer, yeah, and he talks about a whole bunch of boring writers. I actually didn't like that chapter very much, and then it was or that lecture very much. Then the hero as priest, and it's about Martin Luther and stuff like that, and then the hero as king. It's about like Napoleon and Cromwell. Okay, so the point that I was trying to get at this is that in the hero as king, he starts it out with, I want to keep the new capital. He starts it out by talking about the etymology of the word king. And it's, I think that the etymology that he cites is basically that comes from conning, I believe, which is like able man. I think that etymology is maybe a little bit disputed, but definitely most titles of nobility essentially just mean like person who's capable. So, for example, I'm Sultan. I don't know what the etymological background for that is, but I'm pretty sure that king, at least based on Carlyle, just means able man. Duke comes from the Latin, like dux, which means leader. It's like similar to the Italian for duce, right? Like El Duce, the Mussolini's title, like the leader. Yeah, in like emperor comes from the Roman for imperator. Sure, yeah, like that. Which basically just meant commander. Like it was a title that it meant like you were in charge of something. Sure, I like armories. I like armories. 49%. So anyway, the context for that was I was wondering what my title was. I believe Sheik is similar. I think Sheik is just it's like Arabic for commander or something to that effect. I think I can probably put these people on automatic. The only time that I don't want them on automatic is once pirates appear. Otherwise, I think they're pretty good. There was another thing I wanted to talk about, the Carlyle's like on heroes lecture series. It's funny because the context, as I understand it, was that Carlyle wrote a book called The French Revolution, I believe that's the title. It's brilliant. It's one of it's just one of my favorite books of all time, and it's a history of the French Revolution. It's a really bad history if you don't know French Revolutionary history. Like if this is your first exposure to the French Revolution, even your second or your third exposure to it, it's like it's horrible. But if you're someone who knows a lot about the French Revolution, or at least you know like all of the characters, like if I say words like the Duke Orleans, like the Duke de Lorne. I don't know how to pronounce it, but like the Duke of Orleans or Orleans. Okay, I'm giving a bad example. If I say something like Mirabeau, like if you recognize the name Mirabeau, you'll love the book. It's really good, and so it was an instant classic, right? Like it was Charles Dickens' favorite book, if I remember correctly. He carried it around and, with him. It was one of the only books that he carried around with him. But so it was an enormous success in Victorian England. The person who wrote A Portrait of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde, described it as like the first time someone had turned history into poetry or something like that, history into song, and called Carlyle the English Tacitus, who was a Roman historian. So it was hugely successful, but Victorian England had like notoriously bad copyright protection, and so because of that, Carlyle like didn't make very much money from his book sales, and so a whole bunch of his friends, I want to say John Stuart Mill being one of them, but that could be wrong. A whole bunch of his friends like basically got together and helped him do this like lecture series on the hero in history, and as a way of making money, and then it turned into what we have, the book, which is really good. I really highly recommend you guys go check it out. And it's obviously free, like it's all online. You can just, there's nothing stopping you from reading it. You can just reach out. Sure. I like colonies. Do you like colonies? By the way, this is what I meant when I said that, like, yeah, like, sure, I'm going to be colonizing the New World, and I'm going to try to keep myself to just like the Caribbean and Brazil, but that's obviously not going to happen. I'm just too greedy. I don't like that Mali is just colonizing everything. This is fundamentally, I guess, like a problem with games like this, and I talked about this, I believe, in an earlier essay, is that, like, they have no model, for why Mali can't, like, progress up the tech curve that Europe and the Renaissance was. Like, that the feedback loops that existed here are exactly the same feedback loops that exist here, and exactly the same feedback loops that exist here, and here, and here. Like, all the systems we operate under are the same. And, on some level, that's obviously true for humans. Like, we're all confined to the same basic physical systems, but the incentive structures of these societies are radically different, right? But we all have, like, the same states. So it's like, it's very possible that, like, in Mali, because of the environmental factors and the cultural factors and whatever, like, it's very possible that, like, you just couldn't go through, like, in a pre-modern industrialism, because let's say, for example, like, you just couldn't have the population capacity. Like, maybe malarial diseases are too bad or something like that. But this game just doesn't represent that even. So then the whole world just behaves like Europe. This is awesome. I'm very happy with the way my proximity is spreading. How's that beginning to affect control? Getting better control. I mean, obviously it could still be even better. I am tempted to build just like some bailiffs, and I think I am going to in the interior. Like, just all throughout these mountains here. Because the truth is that, like, I'm never going to really be able to propagate control properly into like these Atlas Mountains, I think is what they're called. If you just heard that door, that's my cat trying to get inside the closet. I don't know why he is trying to get inside the closet. There's nothing for him in there. But yeah, I love Carlyle's History of the French Revolution. It's incredible. Okay, I have 2 diplomats generated in 1.4. I think that's pretty good. Oh, okay, cool. This is what I like to see. Can I steal maps from you? I can. I think that's literally going to be over here, right? Yeah. The Kola Peninsula. Why don't they colonize this stuff? Is there a reason? There isn't. I think playing as Novgorod might be an interesting Let's Play series. Whatever. I'll move in that direction, because I think I have so much pressure in favor of serfdom that if I take a little bit of a hit, it's fine. Actually, I don't. Yeah. I wish I could see why he died. Our agent was discovered. Yeah, I have no maps to steal from Castile. They don't know anything, they're foolish. Just as foolish as I am. Okay, I like power projection. Yeah, I have no idea like when this is estimated to be completed. Like this is just gonna take freaking forever. How much money am I spending on colonies? 82 gold. It's like almost my entire surplus. I'll take some stability, because the whole reason I was pushing this up is that I wanted to take elaborate court life away from the nobility, which no, I still would like to do at some point. I just adjusted my chair. If the audio sounds any different, that's why. It may sound a little bit inferior. I'm looking at the audio on OBS, and I think that was worse. I'll go back to the way that I was. Annex them. Perfect. That means I can begin annexating the next one. You look good, like a tasty snack to me. I wonder if I could get away with annexing 3 of them. Interesting. You don't like me enough to be annexed. Could I improve relations with you? I could. I'm gonna see if I start annexing a 3rd country. What is that? What's the annexation speed look like? 1.18. Yeah, so you get like a pretty significant bonus because they're much smaller. Which really just goes to show that you want as many of these tiny little vassals as humanly possible. Like, the smaller the better. If you could have single location vassals, that would be almost arguably better. I could cut my military maintenance, that would save me 10 buckets. Yeah, sure, I'll accept the demand. Diplomatic spending still at full. That would be, I mean, it would be nice if at some point I'd be able to cut that, but it's going to be a little while because I still need to integrate all of this stuff. Oh, yes, I never forced these 2 people to become Muslims. I should do that before I forget. As soon as I have a vassal, I will. I mean, not a vassal, a diplomat. Force religion. Wow, yeah, I have a ton. My cat is deciding to get in front of the the microphone. I forgot that all of these new ones, they're gonna be Catholics. When does my truce with the Castilians expire? 48. We got about 10 minutes left of this episode, so I think that I think this one's gonna carry us through until, maybe a little bit. No, we're not gonna get another 5 years, and then I think the next one will take us to the war against Castile. That's my guess. I'm guessing we're gonna get to 50 episodes. This is 31. So in 31 episodes, we've gone about 100 years. Do I think that we're going to go another 110 years? So that would take us to like 1550. Maybe, but I think that that's unlikely. That would have us... That would have us decidedly inside the Age of Reformation. You know, maybe. You know, it would depend on how the game was going, obviously. But I could see us finishing the Age of Reformation. Okay, cool. Always nice to finish. Oh, France, you motherfucker. I hate you. Very cool. I love it when I annex Huevela. And I have more than enough spy power on Navarre to be able to start causing nonsense. Steal maps. Cool, and everything. Lots of sugar. Am I still trading a ton of sugar? Yeah, I am. It's called Liebeck now because it's owned by the Danes. That's really funny. That's really stupid. Yeah, that's my most profitable trade, is all this sugar. I would love to be able to build some plantations. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but it would be incredible if I could. And it's 1444 when I lose my truce against Mali. Yeah, June 1444. And call jihad I can't do for a little bit. Okay, I have the diplomat, so let's create casus belli. Yep. Okay, I can stop building a spy network there. That was the only point of that. Cool. Did I annex everyone? No, I'm still annexing them. Wow. Look at me. Look at me just consolidating everything. Proximity to the capital. And I have pretty good proximity up here. I think that this is bugged. Sometimes the proximity will like take the old proximity. Yeah. That seems much better. I don't have any maritime presence there. I mean, I guess I might as well like start patrolling down the entire coast, right? That's good. And there's still no pirates, because that's really what's going to determine what I want to do. I think since I got rid of state piracy, it looks like that's just been a strict improvement. I still don't even know what state piracy got me. How is this taking so long? Like, I swear, this is like has been one of the slowest colonies just ever. I am going to build a castle right here, because I didn't like that they could just walk all the way up, like into my empire. I'm going to build another castle there, and one 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 there. Look, they're really not that expensive to maintain. Like, all of my castles together only cost me 13 gold. That's basically nothing. And it, at least in my opinion, it's basically nothing. And then it also, I mean, that will just mean that, like, no one will be able to just, like, walk into my, my core territory. What is my slave situation like? I mean, I like innovative, so sure. A whole bunch of unemployed slaves, the worst kind of slaves. I've got some diplomats, so I can start annexing. I'm just gonna start annexing like crazy. Can I do like 4 at a time? I'm not gonna be making any progress. 2, 1.7. They don't like me enough. They don't like me enough. No one likes me enough. They all hate me. Everyone hates me. Alas. Oh, so my truce against Mali has expired. So in theory, I could go to war against them if I just wanted to take the. I guess I could claim the throne of Songhai. Oh, never mind, they're independent. I wish personal unions in this game were better. I find them like extremely useless. Okay, probably shouldn't be annexing all of these people. I'll cancel one of you. That's better. I'm making progress now. I guess I should start improving relations again. Obviously, I need to at some point. You know, start enforcing religion like like I should. But this is pretty good. I'm honestly really happy with the way that this game has gone, all things considered. I think that it's gone exceptionally well. And on that note, I think that this is a pretty good place to call the episode. So